Roman Reigns may have just complicated things for John Cena a bit, as it was announced on this week's edition of WWE SmackDown that Roman Reigns was officially going to enter the 2025 Royal Rumble match. Paul Heyman made it clear to Cody Rhodes that now that Roman Reigns had retrieved the Ulafala to become the official tribal chief, yet again, that Reigns now had his sights set on getting back the WWE Undisputed Championship from Cody that he lost, as we know, back at WrestleMania 40. And so Reigns enters the Royal Rumble match, and we know that John Cena is already there as well on the WWE on Raw on Netflix debut that we saw this past week. It was Cena bringing up all the doubts of his own and maybe of others as well, of him having the chance to break that record, win a 17th World Championship, but then Cena, in the only way that Cena can do it, in a dramatic, confident fashion, Cena made it clear that he's going to go on and win the 2025 Royal Rumble and get that shot at breaking the record at WrestleMania 41. So, why does Roman Reigns complicate things a bit for John Cena? Well, because you're adding the Tribal Chief to the Royal Rumble match for the first time since 2020. And seemingly, if you go back and look at the history of Roman Reigns in this particular match, he's always been right there, either as a runner-up in the top three, something like that, more often than not. And now that sets up a bit of a predicament, doesn't it, for John Cena? Because, as I've said before, there are multiple ways you can go with the John Cena story if you want to get him to that record-breaking 17th world title, right? And if you looked at the path for John Cena before Roman Reigns entered the Rumble, well, maybe it was a little bit clear, wasn't it? Because at that point, it was probably John Cena or CM Punk were going to be your favorites to win this year's Rumble. And you could understand why in both scenarios, right? Cena winning, obvious sense. To have him go on to either challenge Cody Rhodes, which we know has been one of the rumors out there, that if there is no Rock at WrestleMania 41, which right now we're led to believe that's not going to be the case, given everything we've seen over the past week, well, Cena versus Cody, quite a bit of a draw there as a WrestleMania 41 main event with everything on the line for John Cena. There's also, of course, the idea that CM Punk could also challenge for a world championship at WrestleMania 41. That same rumor has been out there for the past month or so of how WWE wanted to get Punk into that championship picture at the biggest show of the year. And so perhaps Punk could go on to challenge Gunther or something like that. I don't think they're doing Punk versus Cody, but it does at least seem like, okay, Punk would make an obvious sort of challenger for the world championship at WrestleMania 41. There's also the rumor out there, you know it's WrestleMania 41 season. We have like multiple rumors to address when it comes to this card. But we also know that there are the discussions about perhaps it being Roman Reigns versus CM Punk, and then maybe it is Cody Rhodes versus John Cena as your two-night main events there for Las Vegas at WrestleMania 41. So, all that said, right, Roman Reigns entering the Rumble now does indeed make the path a little bit tougher, perhaps, for John Cena. And I think it also presents WWE with multiple scenarios as to how they want to navigate things with this John Cena 17th world title run. If indeed they have him break the record, there are now ways you can go because the competition gets a little bit tougher for John Cena now because it's not just Punk maybe as the other clear favorite. You have to wonder, is Roman Reigns a potential favorite here in this match? If you probably look at betting odds or anything like that out there, it's probably these three in some order, with Cena likely still the favorite to win the Rumble. But there's also, some of the wild card potential options, right? What if The Rock is somehow back involved in this and maybe he throws himself into the Rumble, wins it? We talked about the same thing a year ago and it never happened, right? And I think now with the direction they've led us in, I can't imagine that's going to happen this year. It just wouldn't make a lot of sense given everything that they just did at the Raw Netflix debut. They pretty much dropped everything with The Rock and Cody, and all indications are that they've scrapped that idea for now. And so, I think you can throw that one out, right? Drew McIntyre's another choice. Maybe Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens. These all three, as we've said, kind of have this sort of unofficial alliance based on the fact that they're all frustrated people who have forgiven Roman Reigns. And so, for that reason, that may make Roman's path a little bit tougher, because if you do have all these different guys in the match, their goal is going to be to prevent Roman Reigns from getting that opportunity to be, once again, in the main events at a WrestleMania with a championship on the line. And so, again, what does that mean for John Cena here? Because now, if you look at it, this does give WWE an opportunity to where if you have John Cena win this Rumble, it's clear as day. You have a couple months then to set up your big WrestleMania 41 main event match, which will be John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. I threw out the idea months ago of, well, maybe it's John Cena versus Gunther. That would not be the direction right now. It would be Cena versus Cody, and that would be kind of your big draw match as the Night 2 main event, most likely, of WrestleMania 41. But again, there's also the idea there that what if you do maybe swerve a little bit and decide that either a Roman Reigns or CM Punk somehow wins the Rumble and then goes on to, again, somehow challenge for the championship. We know we're not getting Cody versus Roman Part 3. That's what we do know. Now, are we going to get Roman versus Gunther? Probably not. So even though Roman Reigns is probably going to be a little bit further down in terms of the favorites here, it does indeed, though, stack up the competition a bit more for John Cena, and isn't that exactly what WWE wants, right? This is the perfect problem because you want to stack the deck against John Cena because that's what this is all about. You want to make it clear that this is not going to be an easy road for John Cena. And so, if that's the case, you have a Roman Reigns, you have a CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, all these different people that Cena has had history with in the past. You have all of these people standing in the way now of having John Cena get that opportunity. Because what happens if he doesn't, right? What happens if he loses in the Royal Rumble and someone else walks out with that guaranteed championship opportunity at WrestleMania 41? Well, then everything's on the table at that point, right? Your chips are all in because then it only becomes one chance for John Cena to get there, and that is through the Elimination Chamber. And boy, they've been promoting that Elimination Chamber a lot to this point. And so, if you are trying to figure out what is John Cena going to do with the Elimination Chamber, which his face has been all over the advertisements, well, it would make sense that maybe that's his last chance, right? His time could be up at the Elimination Chamber. If he doesn't win that match, then he's not going to get that chance at WrestleMania 41 to capture that 17th World Championship and break the record. And so, I think this puts WWE in an interesting spot. I know there are going to be people who say it's still as obvious as can be. Cena is going to win the Royal Rumble and go on to challenge for the championship. But I've brought up that idea before that if you really want to put all the suspense on the table here and have everything kind of building to a big, big moment, yes, Cena winning the Rumble in his final farewell year would be a big moment. But it would also be a big moment if you come out of that wondering, how's he going to get there? And he has to win the Elimination Chamber, right? There's no chance. You know, he has to survive the Elimination Chamber or he's not going to get that opportunity. And we're all going to be looking up saying, well, then what's he going to do, right? He's not going to get the championship match at WrestleMania. He's got to get it somewhere further down the line this year before he retires. But if you want that big spectacle, you want Cena challenging for the championship at WrestleMania 41. That's what you want if you're WWE. And so, having a Roman Reigns, having a CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, like we said, could there be a wild card like The Rock or somebody like that thrown in the mix? It's possible, but I'm not counting on that at this point. It's all your kind of main event players, you know, whether Jey Uso's in there, guys like that, right? And these are all people who are going to kind of build up sort of the unpredictability of a Royal Rumble match, but maybe not necessarily going to win the Rumble. And so, what does that mean for John Cena? What does that mean for Roman Reigns? These are all questions now, but you have to believe now that Roman Reigns has entered this thing, there's always that chance that the Tribal Chief is going to walk out victorious given his history. But again, the problem for Roman Reigns also, if we're tying this in, is that his path to a world championship is only through Cody or Gunther, right? And we just don't think they're doing Gunther at all. And we just don't think they're also going to do the rematch for a third straight year, Reigns and Cody. There are other fresh matches available. So, even though it may complicate things a little bit for John Cena here and add more competition and stack the deck against him a little bit more, it's kind of the perfect problem again for WWE because that's exactly what you want. You want to load up this Rumble with star power. You want to load up the Rumble with people that you think certainly have an opportunity to win this match and go on to main event WrestleMania, and that's what Triple H and company have done. They built up a lot of good main event type stars who you could, in the right scenario, believe are going to have a chance to go on to not necessarily, again, keep in mind, we're not just talking about people who could challenge Cody here. Who's going to challenge Gunther, right? And you guys have seen the different rumors that are out there. I've seen Logan Paul thrown around as a possibility. Could Logan Paul win this Rumble and go on and face Gunther? I hope not, but, I mean, that could be something that they're entertaining if they want to save the John Cena triumphant win for the Elimination Chamber. And like I said, what does that mean for Roman Reigns? What does that mean for CM Punk? How do they get there? Is this where Paul Heyman somehow returns the favor for CM Punk. And maybe it's where Punk is able to throw out Roman Reigns. And somehow Paul Heyman has played a role in that. That's all you need to set up that huge match for WrestleMania 41 Night 1 if we're doing Cena versus Cody for Night 2. So, lots of interesting dynamics in play now in this Royal Rumble match. And you saw the graphic that they put up, right? Just having Cena and just having Roman Reigns on that graphic for right now, it's beautiful because it shows you those are two of your main players heading into this. And as we start to add more names officially to this match, we know that it is going to be a stacked roster here heading into this 2025 Royal Rumble match. So many people, I think, in this that have these, have the tension, they have the relationship history, all this kind of stuff, and it's going to make for a fun Rumble because you never know what's going to happen, right? You never know who's going to come out at number 1. You never know who's going to come out at number 30, and how they build this up. The drama of John Cena and everything being on the line for him here if he comes up short. There's only one more chance at the Elimination Chamber, but like I said, it could be as simple as maybe this match comes down to a John Cena and Roman Reigns. Maybe it comes down to Cena and CM Punk. You would think in some combination, those three are going to be in the final 3 of this match. And then, like I said, is it the Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Randy Orton still out there as we know? There's lots of people you can throw into this mix, but you've got to think that John Cena just got another serious challenger here in this match, and his name is Roman Reigns, who is now the original Tribal Chief and the only Tribal Chief, as Paul Heyman said. And so, I want to know what you guys think. How does Roman Reigns entering this match change things? Does it change anything at all? Because like I mentioned, if it's Reigns versus Punk, you don't really need a World Championship on the line with those two because you have the Paul Heyman aspect. So, I would think if that is the way they're going, you would have to believe that one of those two winning the Rumble may not really make that much sense right now, which would only leave John Cena and perhaps someone else who is going to challenge Gunther if you want to save the Cena versus Cody kind of, build. If you want to save that for Elimination Chamber, then you could have someone win it here who's going to go on and challenge Gunther. Like I said, there's multiple options. Could you do a Drew McIntyre? Could you do a Logan Paul? There are other people like that. So I want to know what you guys think. How do you see this thing playing out now that Roman Reigns is into the Rumble? What do you see with John Cena? Do you still think he is the obvious choice to win this match, or do you like the idea that they should save it for Elimination Chamber to give it one more for John Cena, add more drama to the mix here to see if he can actually get to that championship match at WrestleMania 41? You guys let me know what you think. What do you want to see in the 2025 Royal Rumble? Who will be the final 2? Who will be the final 4? We'll make our predictions as we get closer. But now that Roman Reigns is in, now that John Cena is in, how do you see this thing playing out? Always appreciate your feedback, guys. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button as well, and let me know your thoughts on what's going to happen in the 2025 Royal Rumble match, and specifically what's going to happen with the two people that we know are going to be two of the favorites, John Cena and Roman Reigns.